We're gonna... Oh, I gotta pour my cup of coffee here. I really gotta clean this truck out. Right. See if we can get anybody in here. Oh, forgot my phone. Lock the door. What's up, everybody? All 6 of you. The YouTube gods are not pleased with me. So my analytics are horrible. Say, well, it's your content, Steve. No, I know a lot of people with crappy comment that get 100 people in their deal. What are you going to do about it, though? What are you going to do? If YouTube was my career, I would be screwed. Hey, what do you guys think of that thumbnail? Do you guys like that thumbnail? Oh man, so yes, as you can see, I'm in the truck. I'm working, playing the short game until the weekend, then probably pick something long. Got to stay out a little bit if the truck will let me. We've had some truck issues here lately, but I think we're good now. There was, you guys ever like? Here's a trucker recommendation, right? This is no business. This is just trucking, okay? When you park your truck somewhere, especially if you're doing a post-trip inspection, look underneath the truck to see what puddles are there, right? From other trucks, okay? That way, the next morning you don't freak out thinking that you're leaking something when you're not. So, I did that yesterday. So, yesterday, I picked up a load. I was picking up a load in Kansas City, and you have to park out in the street. If I was a Schneider Landstar guy, this would be an illegal load. But I'm not at Landstar or Schneider, so we're good, right? So you check in. You have to basically park in the street, check in, and then they text you when you get a dock, and then you got to get into the dock, which sometimes can be a pain in the booty. And then you unhook, and then you got to park back out in the street, your bobtail. Well, when I parked out in the street, I didn't realize that, you know, of course, there's other trucks there. And there must have been another truck leaking, because when I got out, I came from the driver's side in front of the truck. But when I came back after getting my paperwork, I came in behind the truck with no trailer and noticed a puddle right underneath, directly underneath the rear pumpkin. And then I was like, oh man, I hope that's not leaking. So I looked underneath and I didn't see anything. There was nothing dripping. So I'm thinking, well, this might have been the truck before me or something. So every time I've been parking, I've been looking at the pumpkin, and I have not been seeing it a puddle. So we're good, right? And you know, and when I was new, when I was green, I didn't realize the AC condensation would drip. And I remember one time freaking out on that. It was just the AC water, the water condensation. So, but everything's good, knock on wood. We've got a heavy load to pick up today in Tulsa. I waited for the broker to go up $300 before I booked it. That's what you do. That's how you know the system. I was on Jeff's channel last night. I was watching in the dock, and then I got empty, and while sitting there, I booked the load. And he was live, I think, for almost 2.5 hours, something like that, 2 hours. And Of course, I started to drive, so instead of watching or listening to the video, because you want to do that while driving, I went ahead and called them. And we talked about, we had some good topics. We talked about the short game. And, you know, and I'm not saying short game is everybody's answer, but it's definitely mine. You know, and if you get bored, you can stretch your legs a little bit. But having a beat-up used truck, short game is almost more beneficial, I think. Especially, I mean, unless you got some mechanical background, then, you know, take the truck wherever. But I don't. If I have any regrets in life, it's the fact that when I was 10, I didn't start becoming mechanical. That's my thing. So, all right. So let's see. We've got some. We'll do some shout outs. We got Thor and Thunder Trucking, Sage News, Big Houston, Red Diesel, Yukon Cornelius. Wow, you must be bored to being here. TK, what's up? But I appreciate you being in here, Yukon. Shannon Thomas Trucking. Good morning. Desert Okie Pam. My buddy needs drive tires for his KW and says he can't find the whole set. Huh. I got tires before the shortage happened. Now, I do have to get some trailer tires. There are some that are pretty close. And I know that a lot of TAs will have some specials on tires. You go and they got, but I don't know. I'm trying to not skimp too much on the tires because I had hand cooks when I bought the trailer. And they've been really good except for one side. Probably the side where you do a lot of turning around. But I do know that the cheapy tires on the trailer are not really cheaper because they actually cost more because they wear out faster. I know that. So I've had bad experiences with Double Coin and whatever that cheapest brand that TA uses. So I'm hoping to get a decent set of hand cooks or I don't know, maybe Goodyears. Who knows? I don't know. Provost, what's up? Shadow Wolf, good morning from California. Wow. I just got done watching that on the replay. Lots of good info. Yeah, you got to kind of dig, Shannon, because the first hour is them just kind of BSing and giving Rob, you know, the Dean, a hard time. Now, look, for some reason, Rob doesn't like me. I think I said something in the live feed that offended him or something, so I don't know. I've tried to apologize or whatever, but he does not like me. But I came to his defense because everybody was kind of picking on him about his W9. And, you know, when you spend 2 days at the Joplin Guilty by Association truck show, you get it. I mean, there's a part of me that does want one of those trucks. Would I get a new one with the DPF system? No. I would want something pre-emissions. But I'm not set up at all to acquire or use one of those trucks. You know, maybe later, right? Maybe later. Let's see. Sounds like General Mills in Kansas City. Went there for the first time to drop it empty this week. Definitely experienced. Now, this was the pallet place. You know, when freight's about to go gangbusters again, you know, pallets go crazy. And, or, you know, when pallets they're a good canary in the coal mine when it comes to freight. If you're doing a lot of repairing of pallets, pallet loads pay good. And if they're staging to do a lot of shipping, pallets do good. So I've Schneider and here I made a lot of money running pallets. So there's one particular pallet shipper that you got to check out on the street. So Cash is King, what's up? Pigtail, good morning. John Armstrong, good morning. Double nickel tires are cheap, right? Yeah, double nickel. Yeah, that's the other brand. I don't recommend them at all. Lots of funny entertainment at first, but then the good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you got to kind of, like I said, you know, if you don't know any of these people and you're just coming across the channel for the first time, that may not have been a good introduction, but for the most part, you know, Jeff BSing with two guys that were over here that have their own authority. I mean, I think that's good for the company. you know, there's many different reasons for turnover rates, and our turnover rate has been all, with the exception of maybe two or three drivers that all went on to get on their own authority. Nothing Woody, good morning. Pallets are 60% of wood used in America. Wow, I didn't know that. Little Viking Coach is full of all kinds of good knowledge nuggets. But I did not know that. But it makes sense. I mean, there's a pallet place that I deliver to in Carthage, Missouri, and it's just miles and miles out in the field of old wood pallets. A match could do some damage in that field, because anybody who's ever burned pallets know that they burn hot and fast. So, they're great for bonfires, but yeah, if you want life-sustaining warmth fire to cook with, yeah, pallets ain't it. You have not missed anything. Big business. It is. There is. I mean, you know, in the, you know, Chep and Propack, I mean, their entire job is to take old pallets and repair them. And I don't know, I used to haul a lot of plastic pallets, a lot of food grade for those. Fontana has lots of pallet yard fires, I bet. LVC is a Cliff Clavin of YouTube. He is, man. He's full of lots of good knowledge. But yeah, so I mean, look, I get the whole big hooded truck thing, man. They're nice trucks. I mean, you know, there was a communal spirit. You know, I talked about it in my my little podcast / call-in experiment that I did, which I think in the future when I do the podcast call-in thing, it'll be a planned call-in. Like I'm gonna ask a specific person to call in, and discuss a topic, because sometimes the open forums may or may not work. Some people like them, some people don't. I know that when I listened to Freewheeling back in the day on Sirius XM, it got kind of annoying. So I thought, man, how do you deal with that? So most Chep wood is imported from Brazil. Wow, what's up? Big Rich, I was just thinking about you. Me and the wife were just talking about you the other day. And how you've kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. I'm glad to see you, Mr. Rich. I'm glad to see you. My number's still the same. You ought to call me up sometime. We'll have a conversation. Very true, John. My retention of useless facts bugs myself, but pallets put money in my pocket. I've made a career with pallets. I mean, hell, Jeffrey Like, when he was at Schneider, I think the main loads he did up in Michigan were pallet loads. And I have a really good customer in Springfield that know me by first name. I've been going to them a long time, and it's all pallets. So pallets are everywhere, and the earth is flat. Yes, Yukon. The earth is shaped like a big pallet. Big Rich is falling off a little bit. That's okay. Sometimes, look, I get it. Sometimes you have to take a break from things. If not, the digital noise gets to be too much. You got to kind of... I've got like a whole list of audiobooks that I need to get to listening to versus just listening to crap. I find it harder and harder to be focused these days because of all the noise and all things going on. And you don't have to... You don't have to be on social media to realize that the world's kind of going to crap. It's weird. This dude's truck's just like it's like Hopefully it's racing really hard. High. I don't know if it's regenning. Maybe it's regenning. Beautiful weather and everybody's idling. I've got my APU on because I would love to have the windows open, but this truck next to me has got his RPMs up to 1500, I think. I sell pallets. They pay between $7 to $15 a piece. Oh wow, cool. I've definitely gotten a lot more into ebooks and podcasts. I get $66 per day for my per diem. I'm a company driver. Trucker Stable, yo. Yeah, if your company pays it, that's fine, but you can't claim it on your taxes as a company driver. But if your company pays you, that's great. So, and what Big Houston is referring to, it may sound like it's kind of an off-topic thing, but he's referring to something that everybody was talking about last night on Jeff's channel. About to pick up some pallets, actually. Sorry, Steve. Got to roll. Hauling for Schneider. New freight power board. Saving my butt financially. Good deal. You still with the same carrier there, John? Or did you switch again? Just curious. Not that it matters. Got my Sanctuary mug. Yukon might know who that is. But it's a beautiful morning. I guess it's going to rain today, which, you know, the red skies in the morning kind of deal going on. I think there's supposed to be some thunderstorms, and then the temperature is going to be a perfect early autumn. So, yeah, trying to get good luck on the trailer, man. I looked at a trailer a couple weeks ago. They only wanted $4,000 for it. It was a 2004 dry van. Oh man, it was horrible. It was horrible. It needed a new everything, and someone actually bought it. I don't know if it was even worth its weight in scrap metal, but someone bought it. I wish I could have refurbished it. You know, I wouldn't have mind if I could have bought it for $4 and put another couple of grand into it and get it up to specs. That might have been good, but there's too much structural issues that worried me. It's going up to $69 per day, I believe. John Strong hollered me on Zello. I edited a few videos. I ain't got time for that. All right, be safe, follow. See you, John. Be safe. I was on Zello yesterday, and there was only like 2 people on. Then I had to go. But Zello's one of those things, you know, I get on there for a day or so, and then I get off for about, I don't know, 2 months. But I really don't have a whole lot of content today. I do have a sunrise video that I will upload tomorrow, but it's basically a short. Not going to really talk doom and gloom, although I got accused of that again yesterday. And I told the person I was talking to about the doom and gloom, I said, look, if you see the mushroom cloud in the distance, pull the truck over, go outside, and just put your arms up. It's over. It's a wrap. No sense prolonging the misery. If you're right with God, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. I had an old musician colleague pass away earlier this month. Kind of bummed me out yesterday. You know, it sucks when you haven't seen somebody in a while and then you find out that they passed on Facebook. That's kind of what Facebook's for, is keeping track of friends that you don't see every day. Really, Yukon? Snow up, well, upstate New York, right? I should have came and visited you there, Yukon. I was up in Dryden for, well, basically a week. Schneider had their worn out trailers listed at $25,000. No way I would pay that, but I guess if you need it, you need it. Yeah, I mean, those trailers used to be 15 grand all day long. And you might have to put another 2 or 3 grand into them, but they were DOT ready, usually, I think. However, they know the market, and it's surprising that they're even selling, to be honest with you. There's a local carrier that I've seen that they have like 4 trailers that they've retired. I'm thinking about talking to them and see if I can't snag one. And if I snag one, I'll lease it to you there, John. Actually, I think we need them, like trucking needs. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to get a couple of trailers and lease them on to lease them to Jeff. So, Ogar, what's up? Pale Rider TV. Cheers, Pale Rider. I know you're drinking your coffee. And don't worry, it's black coffee. Okay. TM, there any particular brand? I'm not really particular. The thing that I look for is logistics posts. You want logistics posts to be closer together. If not, you want E-Tracks. I do like Wabash and Utility. I've pulled a lot of trailers. So Schneider had Great Dane, Hyundai, Wabash, and then Landstar had Utility, I think. I don't know if they still do or not. I've pulled a lot of utility trailers. Landstar also had Vanguard, which I like the lights on Vanguard, but they tend to have a lot of electrical issues. Wabash seems to be the best, but if you get the DuraPlate trailer or whatever it's called, the plate trailer, logistics posts aren't that close together. So you'd want to get E-Tracks. The E-Tracks in this trailer or not the E-Tracks, the logistics posts in this trailer are, I think, 14-inch spacing. Pretty good. This trailer's been good, knock on wood. I've got a Strick now. The only thing I don't like about Strick is they don't have a whole lot of dealers in my area. But other than a light issue and then a little bit of leaking in the front, I haven't had any issues with this trailer. Again, knock on wood. If I had to choose, like if I had a blank check, someone said go buy a trailer, I would probably be looking at the Utility or Wabash. So. I told my wife, if anything happens, tell the doctors and nurses not to give up. Keep punching on my chest until heart starts back. Are you having a heart attack there? Look, I want to be, I don't have a DNR. I mean, I want to be resuscitated. I want to have my life saved. But if there's a nuclear mushroom cloud, then, you know, just give up. It's a wrap at that point. Good morning, Thomas. How's it going? I enjoyed that video you sent me last night. But speaking of that, Trucker Stable, my musician friend that passed away, he died of a heart attack. He was not the healthiest of people. Last time I saw him, he had lost a lot of weight. but he didn't look healthy. So yeah, it's kind of, you got to take care of yourselves. I was interviewed by Asian My Show and CDL Life. I don't know if those interviews will ever come out, but if they do, we talked about health a little bit, because that's your biggest threat to your career right now. It's not the government, it's not regulation, it's not even the shot. It's your own health. So, no, our uncle is in bad shape and has a DNR. That's very sad. I'm very sad to hear that. It's tough making decisions like that. I worked in a nursing home as a cook, mind you, but every now and then I'd have to be in the dining room and deal with the patients, and it was definitely an experience. I don't know how people can stay in that career. My mom did that for 40 years. I mean, she was a nursing home nurse, and she took care of Alice Cooper's grandmother when we lived in Arizona. And she's met him twice. Once while at work, and then one time she was just at the airport and met him. It was pretty cool. You got to take care of yourselves. You got to take care of yourself. Look, we all think about physical health, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but the world is kind of losing its collective mind. And so mental health, I think, is a huge issue. I think that there's a lot of mental health issues that are really surfacing because of the conditions of what we're dealing with. And I've heard that the vid has caused some neurological damage as well. But I think that when you see people like you, Connor, are you still in here? Give me a thumbs up if you're still in here. And I think you can identify with this. It's almost like demonic possession. People have just lost their minds. And you see some of these videos of people just losing their crap. Like there was a lady, it was like Joey B. Tunes has talked about this. There's a lady that was chasing this other lady in the store, telling her to stop chasing her and that she was being aggressive with her. Meanwhile, the lady was doing nothing except running from this girl that was accusing her of chasing her. And when she went to videotape her, she collapsed on the ground and started shaking. Morning, good sir. Have a rocking day. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. And when you look at, if you guys have ever seen, look up Flakka, Flakka. Look at the effects of Flakka. Look that up on YouTube, and you can't tell me that's like almost demonic possession, right? And I'm seeing a lot of that, and I don't think it's Flakka. I think fentanyl does that. Heroin definitely does that. And so just if you're in a major metropolitan area and you see a lot of that, you see a lot of people just kind of losing it at the intersection, right? You know, they got this cardboard sign and they're just kind of like all over the place, right? It's mental health is a huge issue that hardly anybody's talking about. You know, I've lost people to suicide the last couple of years. And if you're not taking a tool to your head at once, you're doing it slowly through either drugs or food or alcohol. You know, it's slow, right? It's slow, and slow enough that you may not even realize it. I know several people that are fighting the demon alcohol, as Ozzy Osbourne would call it. It's, you look at the world around you and you can't help but think that there's a spiritual warfare going on. I know that might sound weird coming from me, but when you got people arguing against logic, truth that's right there in front of their faces, how else do you what else do you call that? Nomadic Brit, what's up? Walking Zombie, yes. And I don't think it's just Flacca that's doing that. I think Flacca's the most extreme, but and what it amounts to, guys, and this is no joke, okay? This is what it here's what it amounts to. Nobody's happy. You want to change the world, you got to change yourself. You want respect, you got to respect yourself. Nobody respects themselves anymore. No one takes pride in what they do anymore. We're just living, breathing, eating machines most of the time. We're parasites. And it's tough to find meaning in your life if you have no, you gotta find something that means something to you. You gotta find meaning. And a lot of people can't find that right now. I think the poverty level has risen, and I think that's a big part of it. If you live in poverty level and all you do is see all these ads for the expensive sneakers and the lavish lifestyles that are on your TikToks, it could be depressing. And TikToks and Instagram Reels, they're designed for ADHD. They're designed for low attention spans. They're designed to inflict emotion, to distract you, to keep your focus off yourself. And if you're a narcissist, it's a great tool to feed that narcissism, but there's never enough. And so happiness is kind of out the window. Mental illness is up. Suicide rates are up. Depression, anxiety, and then when you add the diet connections that I've made to these things, it's a wonder the world, it's no wonder that the world is screwed up as it is. RM, what's up? Hey, Mark, have you talked to Matt lately? Is he doing okay? I listened to an interview with Ed Calderon. He talked about how society is easing up on the little things like shoplifting, filth on the streets, etc., and that starts to gradual slide back to Thomas Wilson is happy to be back to trailer truck. Good deal. Hope the truck is running well, sir. Third world type conditions. He said LA and San Francisco are now where Mexico was in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, and I watched a really good documentary about Los Angeles, and maybe LVC, if you're in here, they went to a memorial park where a bunch of veterans have it's like a tent city for veterans right outside a veteran hospital. And it was really interesting. There's I don't know, it's when I talk about spiritual warfare, you don't even have to be religious, right? When I talk about spiritual warfare, can't even say it right. The spirit of the human body, the spirit of the human mind, It's like we're nothing but shells. I mean, we're just animals, right? Without your spiritual side, without your soul. And yes, we're getting deep here, right? What makes you happy? What makes you focused? What gives you purpose? And a lot of people have lost that. A lot of people don't know what that is. And these little kids, 4 and 5 and 6 years old, that you're handing your iPads to, or you're handing your phones to pacify them, they're never going to know what their dreams and aspirations are. You need boredom for creativity. And that's the part that saddens me quite a bit, is what are we doing to the younger kids? Jose, what's up? Anyhow, the mental health issue, I think, is right up there with that. We are literally degenerating as a nation. And I agree. And that doesn't help the mental aspect. I mean, look, this isn't like some conspiracy theory. Just go look at what Seattle looks like right now. Look at what Los Angeles and San Francisco, Sacramento, those areas. Those are not the same areas that I saw. There was a time where I wanted to live in California. And I'm sure there's some really beautiful spots, but I mean, there was another news channel I followed out of San Francisco that was pretty eye-opening on how people were just treating each other, how people were treating beautiful parks, and you have people literally defecating in the streets with no shame. And you would never even think of that happening here in this country. Yeah, either a phone or a donut, those kids don't have a chance. You are absolutely correct. You need boredom to get creativity. So true. You need to coin that and preach it, right? Hell, even Florida's looking out of control. Look, it's happening everywhere, guys. It's happening in my own town. I was talking to the Uber driver that I had the last time my truck was in the shop, and he was talking about, we both lived in Springfield he's lived in Springfield all his life. I've only lived here 30 years, and just the amount of change has gone through, and a lot of the negative changes are because of drugs. A lot of the negative changes is because of the poverty. A lot of the big factories that, like Solo and Zenith and the rail yards, that were huge money makers, huge careers, they all left, and it was nothing left but service industry. Well, it's hard to support a family on service industry wages. I'm talking like restaurants, hotels, stuff like that. And so the poverty level went up, so that means drug use goes up. And you see it. A friend of mine had his truck broken into not too long ago in Springfield. There's definitely a degeneration happening. Lots of problem is open borders. They wanted cheap labor, so they left the border open so the infrastructure can't keep up. That is true, little bike coach. I agree with that. And what causes that? Greed, right? Government makes it hard for an employer. That's why jobs went overseas. All the red tape that we have here. And then for the jobs that a lot of people think that they're above doing, they bring in, they open the borders up for that. When I was poor, I couldn't afford drugs. I like the expensive stuff. Just kidding. Look, there's definitely a correlation. I mean, yeah, the rich and elite, they have their drug issues too. But look, if you look at the early 80s when crack came about, what was it, late 80s that they were warning people about crack? But prescription drugs are a huge problem too. Legal stuff. Border Patrol have to be vaccinated by 11/1/21 or be terminated. Wow, I didn't know that. People don't know how to cope. We're all trying to figure out how to cope, adapt, adjust, or fight. Yeah, overpopulation leads to insane rents. Yeah, I mean, look at New York City. You can have an apartment the size of the cab of this truck that'll cost you like $2,000 a month. And you got the 15th story of a 16-story building. I don't have any answers except start with yourself. If everybody focused on their selves, man, I can't talk today. God. Not enough coffee, evidently. World would be a much better place, and there's no self-care anymore. There's self-indulgence. There's narcissism, but there's no true self-care. When was the last time you just sat and was quiet? No podcasts, no videos, no idiot like me talking to you on a phone. When was the last time you just, when was the last time you went driving and you didn't have anything on? I have the CB on, of course it's quiet, so it's not a big deal, but beyond that, I mean, here lately I've been doing a lot of driving in silence, just the phone's not on, I'm not listening to podcasts, I don't have a satellite radio going. I just listen to the engine, right? Listen to what my thoughts are. Self-reflection is important. You need that boredom. And so I think that's where a lot of overeating comes in, is we're bored. You bored of meat. I bored of meat. It was when I started fasting that I realized that I was a boredom eater. And you find yourself, okay, if you don't want to look at your phone, if you don't want to eat, now what? Now what do you do? Well, that's when I was able to tend to my excuse me, business, making sure my numbers are good and keeping up with my trucking office and all that. So you did that and you got arrested for loitering. Triple T, I agree with you. They are bringing in National Guard to replace nurses who quit over the 19. Yes. Look, guys. Look to Australia and what's going on there. I'm not saying that could happen here, but that is what governments and people are capable of, right? I've seen some heartbreaking videos of moms getting arrested for not wearing a mask in front of their kids. Their kids are crying, and the cops are just being jerks. And I'm afraid that the anti-cop sentiment that has caused basically a war between the lower class and the police, this defunding police and all that stuff, I think that could lead to scenarios where people of power will not have any kind of sympathy. It's dangerous ground that we're walking on. And we can't control any of it. We can't control what the government's doing. We can't control what China's doing. We can't control what Australia is doing. We can only control on how we react. We can have our little fights. You can go to the city meetings, and you can make your voices heard. And you got so many people that want to start a revolution but don't know how to fix themselves. You have to fix yourself before you can have anything. That's all there is to it. A friend of mine was at a grocery store in California, and a 480-pound woman yelled at him for not having a mask on because he was not interested in his health. That's what I mean about logic being out the window. And it's depressing sometimes. The only thing you can control is your reaction to it. And trust me, it gets me down. It really does. James Best, what's up? I remember a time, Big Houston, when you could stop and help someone that was broken down without the fear of being attacked. That's absolutely true. I like to start my day quiet driving. I do too, Cassius King. Princess. Best part of a wedding, free beer. LOL. Make yourself a princess. Oh, pissing pants. I forgot about that. Donnie Luke, what's up? A lot of Massachusetts state police turned in resignation over vaccine. Hey Bill, what's up? So that's a whole new topic for a whole new day. Whether you agree with mandates or not, whether you agree about what the shot does or does not do, is irrelevant, and here's why. Because what people need to be focused on is the reaction to said mandates. And the problems that could cause. That's the part that you have to focus on, because you can't control the mandates. You can't control how people are reacting. All you can do is pay attention and adjust accordingly. That's it. That's all you can do. You have no control, only over yourself. That's it. That's the only thing you got control over. And that is what you should be focused on. Because if resignations create a shortage of something, you notice there's a lot of that going around. There's a lot of shortages of things going on. Now, Sage Logic has put out there why a lot of those shortages are happening. Common sense, there's a shortage of that. There's a shortage of people keeping their head on their shoulders. And again, whether you agree with the mandates or not, whether you agree with the shot or not, it doesn't matter, because what you have to focus on is how you react, is how people are reacting. If people start quitting in droves, yes, that makes a statement, but it also creates problems. And that's the intention of the resignations. And I have a feeling there's going to be a huge adjustment, and I use that with quotation marks, adjustment, for every shortage that comes along. for every emergency that's been thrown at us. If you guys haven't noticed yet, every single emergency we've lost our rights. Every single one. 9/11. We lost a lot of rights because of that emergency. Look at what the Japanese lost. Japanese Americans lost in World War II because of that emergency. Every emergency gives them a path to take your rights away, to put the heavy hand upon your life. That's it. So for every emergency that we can either create or what's the word I'm looking for? Take advantage of, or legit, emergencies, the better. A bunch of nurses resigning is an emergency. A bunch of state police quitting, that's an emergency. The terrorist event, that's an emergency. A conflict with another country, that's an emergency. That's the part you should be focused on. That's it. So James Best went to a COVID wedding. That's very good. Some people need to learn how to get control themselves even. Yes, I agree, Shannon. Layover sucks, so yes. Layovers mean time to hit the bar. And if there is a shortage of something, the press will sensationalize it to make it the end of the world. No, they're actually not doing that, Bill. Here's the thing. Let's talk about that for a second, Bill. You just fired me back up. When you look at what's happening in the ports and the true shortages that we're going to start seeing, the Today Show did an article that Costco was limiting certain foods, toiletries, and cleaning products, right? They're limiting purchases, right? But then they focused on TVs, toys, and sneakers. And then the end of the whole video article talked about how there's going to be this huge shortage of artificial Christmas trees. Now, I get it. They don't want to cause a panic by saying there's a food shortage. If they do that, panic buying will happen. And if history has shown itself, history has shown that people suck when they get hungry, right? When they think there's a shortage of it. So I get that, but they're like look at the little birdie, meanwhile they're doing something over here. And the shortage of Christmas trees is going to be the least of your problems in about 2 months. The least of your problems. So there are some things that they're not focusing on that need focusing on. Look, here's the deal with the press. If you talk to someone in a communist country and they go, we don't even watch the news because we know it's propaganda. It's flat out known propaganda. The difference between here is that you think it's still true press and it's not. Sam's Club's limiting water and paper products. Costco just leased some cargo ships and a bunch of containers, right? We have more issues coming soon. Yes. In Sage News, quit changing your name, damn it. Sage News was talking about the power issue that's going on in China, like coal, electricity, that kind of power. Are you watching James Freeman channel, Snorelord, the cop watcher, very educational on freedoms being eroded? No, I think you got to send me a link, LVC. I think if you have, forgive me, I've forgotten it, but yeah. Border Patrol resigning emergency. Yep. The movie The Purge may be around. Look. Okay, so let's take that, Donnie Luke. If that happens, you're losing all your rights. That's it. Once martial law is inflicted because of social unrest, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Port drivers not getting enough loads and are quitting. Did a video today waiting too long for cans. I've been telling people for 3 months, buy extra stuff. Don't go out and hoard it all. But if you buy one of something, buy two. Look at the UK, 100,000 truck drivers needed. Military is delivering fuel that has created an emergency due to political choices. Let's see, what? Something interesting. So my sister went with me to New York. She lives in kind of a bubble. You know, she works for an amusement park there in Florida. And she was very surprised by going across the country with me from Missouri to New York. And that's on purpose. She intentionally avoids the news. She intentionally avoids most social media. If Facebook gets to be too much, she gets off. And that's by design too. If you're confused and it creates anxiety, then you're going to avoid it. Well, if you avoid information, regardless if it's good or not, then you're in the dark. And that sun needs to be about 10 minutes higher. She had no idea. She had no idea. And I said, look, this is the world through my eyes. You know, you drive a truck, you see the world differently. I don't care who you are. We have the ability to have a unique perspective. And you don't have to watch the news, and you don't have to watch social media to realize that there's a lot of things that aren't right now. Now, are we still the greatest country in the world? Is there still American pride? Well, I saw examples of that in Joplin last weekend. However, there's going to be a time where good men are going to have to do bad things. All right, Levi Coach, I clicked on that link, and it's in my history now. Thank you. Speaking of arid freedoms, the Virginia candidate for governor was quoted as saying the parents should not be involved in their children's education. Grafton, what's up? Yeah, I mean, look at a lot of people are homeschooling now. And they don't like that. You know why? Because now they don't have control. I can personally tell you that the schools are not doing your children good. I can say that for a fact, especially with the bid. The bid just kind of obliterated any hope for anybody when it comes to schooling. One of my favorite truckers told me he's going to be changing jobs because he doesn't make anything. He used to get 2 to 3 containers from the depot to us. Now it's maybe 1 if he's lucky. Well, if the ports are backed up on the ships and they're having trouble finding truck drivers, why that doesn't make sense to me. I guess I'll have to watch the video. Because if you watch the news, there's a shortage. There's a shortage of drivers. And that mandate's going to create a bigger shortage. Almost out of coffee, dang it. All right, Sage, I'll call you later. Yeah, there's definitely turmoil in the air, but hey, you know what? You got to have some faith. You got to try to have a good outlook, because if you let this stuff just hammer in your head too much, you're going to go crazy, and then mental illness is created. I think all of us right now have the mental illness version of a cold. In other words, it's a slow, it's just a minor irritation that's always there, like a cold, you know. And so that's where, you know, go for a walk, eat right, you know the difference between pleasure and happiness. I think that's how you kind of avoid that. TJ Jones, what's up? RN, I'm in and out of the rail yard in KC daily, and freight is down for my carrier. Hopefully more people will stop being massive consumers. That's definitely, Little Vine Coach, I definitely, look, we've been programmed to be consumers. I mean, look at that news article I was telling you about there's going to be a shortage of TVs and Christmas trees, you know. It's like, no, buy a real tree from a farmer. Hell, get one that's alive and plant it after you're done. But if you can't do that, at least get a cut tree. Water the damn thing so it doesn't set your house on fire. You know, we did something at Christmas time that I think a lot of families should do. We limited the number of gifts. It was only so many numbers, right? It was only so many. We didn't do like the let's shower them with a bunch of future yard sale fodder. You know, we pick 4 or 5 things and that's it. And as the kids get older, as they become teenagers, it's harder and harder even to do that. You know, but we've been programmed to think that we always got to consume. We got to have 20 pairs of shoes, and we've got to have, you know, and what some shortages might actually just be not abundant. In other words, you know, you don't need 50 million different varieties of cereal. You don't need any cereal, in my opinion. But if you're gonna be a cereal eater, why do you need 50 million? So now when you see only 10 million choices, you think, oh, there's a shortage. No, the overabundance is gone. That's going to be the first wave. The overabundance is gone. And it's getting to the point where you won't be able to afford the luxuries anyways. You know, I definitely would not recommend buying a luxury item right now. That's for sure. I mean, that's just me, though. I mean, I drive 15-year-old vehicles. You know, so, I mean, what do I know? I was lucky last week to have they had a turbo and actually got it next day, so it was only down 2 days, counting my lucky stars on that one. Donnie Luke, excellent. It's bad enough you get the hit of the turbo bill, right? But to have no turbo, to have to replace the turbo and be down for a month, that would suck. Lumber prices are going down. Good deal, Dutch. Jim Murdoch, what's up? Don't diss my counter transfer. Yeah. That's funny. Back in my day, we had cornflakes or oatmeal. That was my choice. Just reuse your Christmas tree from the year before. Problem solved. We still have the same artificial tree that my wife and I bought on sale because it had a broken thing on it. We got it from Walgreens like late at night. It was like 40% off, and we still use that same tree to this day. There's some years we don't even set it up, we just do a little tree. But if you buy a cut tree, you're at least supporting a farm. So there's that. It is a tradition. At some point, Christmas went from a tradition to consumerism overload. So, 2x4 at Lowe's was $3.48 each. Crazy. Yeah, that's the thing, man. We've got some fencing that needs to be replaced, and man, it's like, man, it's gonna be like $30,000 of wood. The Hool, what's up? I just flan homemade toys to Xboxes, right? You know, you can't even like buy a video game console now without all these subscriptions so you can play online. You know, it's like, yeah, you can use just the basic game, but that sucks. You know, it's like, it's not even good enough to have just a regular game system. You got to have all these added features. Just like all these, remember when you just like got cable or satellite TV and that was it, right? That was like, you just paid the bill and you were done. Now you got to have all these streaming services. So if you want to watch the extra special cable TV show that's not on the extra cable, you got to download it or you got to stream it. You know, so now you might be down like $100 a month just in streaming services alone. We don't live in a capitalist. There's a difference between capitalism and corporatism, and right now we're full on corporatism. Corporatism happens when the small guy gets snuffed out by the big guy. Anybody who's owned a small business will tell you that right now. The Amazon and Walmart and the big chain restaurants were able to stay open while everybody else had to suffer. That's not capitalism. That's corporatism. I just financed an in-frame for my T680, $28,000. Wow. And I hope they had all the parts. Just look at the TV advertising for Christmas, right? And those advertisements start like as early as September. Big Rig Radio Network. Jeff has not changed his name yet. My college just transported chip manufacturing machines to the airport. These things cost between 100 to 200 million easy. This company is selling them like cookies. They all go to the Far East. We live in a strange world, guys. Drug addiction is up, depression is up, suicides are up, mental illness is up, logic is down. And the only way to defeat it is to keep a clear head. Clear head, you have a clear plan. Clear plan, you can execute the plan. I'm going to have to go through my subscription and weed a few out from Netflix to SiriusXM and many others. I'm keeping YouTube Premium regardless. I still enjoy Netflix, although I have, look, I've got Spotify, Netflix, and SiriusXM. I don't know why I keep SiriusXM. And I think I'm supposed to get one free through JB Hunt, but I just haven't done that. But they just raised it. All of them just raised the rate. Spotify went up $1 a month. Netflix went up $2 a month, I think. And oh, I do have YouTube Premium. I do, you know, because I got tired of the 15 ads in people's videos. I agree with you, Triple T. Common sense is non-existent. Absolutely, it is absolutely correct. Paramount Plus. See, that's the thing. Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. I have now I have been tempted to get Showtime for a minute because of the Dexter reboot, but that'll be on Netflix before too long. You gotta have your priorities straight, right? If you can't pay your cell phone bill and you have like 4 different streaming services, you have a problem. If you if you can afford to go out and buy big toys but then can't fix your truck, you have a problem. Our priorities are jacked, and that is by design. They want your priorities jacked. They want you to consume. They want you to be in debt. They want you to be a slave. Debt is the currency of slaves. Now, I'm not talking business debt. I'm talking, like all the toys, the stuff that keeps you out. Next time your family is sad that you have to stay out a month at a time, maybe there's some bills that you can kind of do without that gets you home more, right? One of the things we talked about last night was the balance between money and home time. And that's a lot easier to do when you don't have all the expensive crap. %of streaming entertainment right on YouTube TV. Well, I've got, this cup is empty, but I do have my metal cup. It's full, but that's gonna last me today. I think I'm gonna get off here. I didn't want to start my clock too early. My appointment's not till 1 to pick up, and I'm about 2.5 hours away to pick up, and I didn't want to start my clock too early because I might need it to get to where I need to go. Common sense doesn't exist because they simplified everything for your convenience. In return, they make you pay a high price for the convenience. Hope you still, okay, I already read that. One thing I've paid for is the Walmart Plus app and free grocery delivery to your truck. I've heard good things about that. I kind of wish I had somebody delivering groceries to me right now, because I've got my fridge is on and my cooler's running, but there's nothing in them. I haven't been able to hit the grocery store, and it's costing me in these truck stops. Remember the time my father needed to adjust the antenna to watch TV? I remember that time. You just got here, TJ Jones. I know you're late, but you can watch the replay. I had to get off. I was the remote control. Yes, I was the remote control for my dad's TV watching. Look, I miss the old antennas. Like when everything went digital, like, you can turn on the TV in your truck and you can adjust, right? And if it was in and out, it was not a big deal, a little bit of snow, it was no big deal. But now it's like you either got it or you don't. Right? How many times have you scanned for channels in your truck and there's nothing, right? But then you'll find a good show, it'll be it'll be on and then it's off, or a truck will drive by, it's off, right? So I miss those days. Yeah, it's the same here. 4 channels if you count PBS, and then 5 if you counted Fox. So I don't have any answers for you guys other than just take care of yourselves, take care of your health, take care of your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, and your financial health. Those 4 things. That's what they want control over. That's what they want control over you on. They want to control what religions you speak. They want you to control what you put in your body. They want you to control how you spend your money. And they want to control what things that you think about. So the more control you have over those 4 things, the better off you will be. Those are my morning coffee thoughts for this morning. I appreciate everybody that came in. Give me a thumbs up before I end this video, or I'm gonna cry. I'll be sad, I'll be depressed, because narcissists love the thumbs up, and I love thumbs up because I'm a narcissist. So please give me the thumbs up. I have a little bit of that little Viking coach. I've been doing that. It is a crazy world we live in. So either you add to the craziness or you avoid the craziness. All right? So with that being said, thanks for watching. Peace out.